Shalawam, sister, Shalawam, Koholo Yahweh Ba'Shem, Hamashiach, Mamalak Yahushai. All praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Lord, willing sisters are enduring and holding it down through the Spirit. All praises to the Most High for another Titus 2 Tuesday. Today's topic is being a keeper of your home. So, Koholo Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai for this topic, because I really didn't know what it was going to be, but I was meditating on this dream that I had on Friday. And I'll just do a quick little overview of the quick little synopsis of the dream before we get into the topic, because that's how we led, how I got to the topic. So all praise to the Most High. So in the dream, I went outside one morning. I went on my deck, and if y'all know me, I love going outside. I love being on my deck. I love being in the garden, looking at the trees, the birds, whatever. I'm just an outside girl. I'm always outside. In nature, etc. So I go outside on my deck and I look, and on my tent, the right side of my tent had fell, like my privacy screen had fell. And I'm like, I know somebody didn't come take my privacy screen, like what happened to it? So I go to see what happened to it, and I look down and I see that my neighbor's deck is completely destroyed. It's on the ground and everything. And then I look, and I walk further to my steps, and I look, and I just see little waves of water, and I see a whole body of water. That my whole backyard was covered and flooded in water. And in my backyard, it's nothing but trees. It was really insane to see because it felt so real. And the first thing I thought about doing, of course, in our generation, I was like, I gotta take a picture of this because this looks crazy. So the sky looked beautiful. It was pink, purple, blue. It just looked like something from a dream. It was really beautiful. And then it started getting bright, and I'm taking a picture, but it's so bright that I can't take the picture because my phone just wouldn't, it just would not allow me to take the picture. No matter how many times I tried, I was like, okay, well, obviously, it's the Lord doesn't want me to take a picture of this. So I couldn't take a picture. But then I started to think about everything on my deck. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got my plants on my deck. I got pretty much my garden up here. My kids are playing up here. I got everything on my deck. Should I move everything in the house? And then dreams, you can't really perceive if it's you or if you're looking down at the whole scene play out in a dream. But I saw an older woman on the deck, and she had children on the deck. Maybe it was me. I don't know. It could have been me because it was my deck. But maybe it was an older version of myself. And I was trying to figure out, okay, what should be the next step? Should I get the kids in the house? The water's coming up. What should I do next? And I was standing over my deck looking at everything that was happening. When I woke up that next morning from the dream, I went outside. And I'm just looking. I looked at my neighbor's deck, and I'm looking at my deck, and I'm looking outside, and I'm like, wow, that dream just felt so real. But one thing that I noticed about my deck and my neighbor's deck was that my neighbor's deck isn't built on any concrete. It doesn't have any rock underneath of it. But my deck does. And their deck was destroyed. And it made me think about how I truly despise how my neighbors keep all of they're Christians. They go to church every Sunday. They keep, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and they got their two little Christmas trees up and stuff. They got their Christmas decorations up, and I hate to see it. It really makes my stomach hurt every time I gotta walk up to my house and see my neighbors celebrating, pagan holidays. So, and the fact that they didn't have a foundation. Their deck was built upon pretty much mud, because that's all that it turns to when it rains. Their whole entire backyard is nothing but mud. So their deck is built off of sand, and ours is actually built off of concrete and rock. And it made me think about Matthew chapter 7 and 24 through 27. So let's go ahead and go to that verse. All right, this is Matthew chapter 7 and let's start at let's start at 22. Let's start at 21, y'all. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have we not cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And this just reminds me of how with Christians, they think they can cast out Satan, speaking in tongues. Oh, I kept all of the holidays. I went to church every Sunday. They profess, they say that they prophesy in the name of the Lord and they cast out devils and that they do all of these works. I've been working at the church all my life, and every day, every Sunday I come into the church. This kind of just reminds me of Christians, but also Israelites too, that don't truly keep the commandments, that really don't love the Lord, that do things in vain, that's not really sincere, and their foundation really isn't built off of a rock, the rock of the Lord, the words of the Lord. All right, so let's just continue to go on. And the Lord says, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Yahushua had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. So call Halo Yahweh Shem Yahushai for, the Lord's sayings, because this parable is so true. A lot of us, in this truth, a lot of sisters, as soon as that flood come, as soon as that wind blew and beats upon your spirit, those demons and those spirits start coming to attack you, you fall. Because it wasn't founded upon a rock. It wasn't founded upon the words of the Lord and having faith in the Lord and truly trusting in the Lord. A lot of sisters go through a lot of problems. They go through marital problems with their children, their job, sisterhood, their congregations. They go through a lot of problems, and a lot of sisters can't handle adversity. When it comes to their marital problems, they can't handle tribulation. If it comes down to financial tribulation, a job, your car, a lot of sisters can't handle that tribulation because they're truly not founded upon the rock of the Lord. But sisters that are founded upon the rock of the Lord, meaning that the words of the Lord and the commandments and the faith, you're not going to fall when those tribulations and those demons and those obstacles and those spirits try to come to attack you. You don't want to be that sister. You having marital problems. Your husband got another wife, then he got another wife, and you say, well, I'm done with this. I'm going to go get a husband. Now you commit adultery because your husband committed adultery. Then your house wasn't founded upon a rock. You didn't really have no hope in the Lord, and you couldn't wait for the Lord. So let's go ahead and get Psalms 18:2. All right, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. So that's what our rock is. That's what we are built upon. We're built upon the trust that we have. We're built upon the Lord, the trust that we have in the Lord. Knowing that the Lord is going to deliver us. Knowing that the Lord is our fortress. That's who we go to when we need protection. We call on the name of the Lord. And that he's the horn of our salvation. And our high tower. So let me get another precept for that. This is Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. So we call on the name of the Lord. That's our strong tower. That's where we run to in Psalms 82. That high tower is the Lord. He's that strong tower that we run to it and we're safe. And we understand that whatever the Lord brings upon us, trials, tribulations, that wind blowing, that rain coming down, you getting beat, the wind blowing. But you're not moved. The righteous shall never be moved. You're not going to let any of those things move you because you know that the Lord is your rock. All right, this is Psalms 55:2. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. He's never going to suffer the righteous to be moved to go and say, I'm going to give up. I don't want to be an Israelite no more. Oh, that's just a religion anymore. I remember when I used to do that. Oh, let me tell y'all about why I don't keep the commandments anymore. Let me tell y'all about that Israelite cult. The Lord is never going to suffer a righteous woman to ever say those things or to ever be moved when she is getting chastised by the Lord, getting beat with tribulation, when that wind is coming, when those spirits are coming. The Lord is never going to suffer a righteous woman to be moved. So one thing I want sisters to truly ask themselves is your foundation, you being in the truth? What is it built upon? Is it built upon having faith in the Lord? Is it built upon the Lord being your strength? Is it built upon the Lord being your strong tower? Or is it built upon having faith in men, trusting in men, but not trusting in the Lord? Doing things of the world, when you down and out, you want to go smoke a blunt. The first thing you want to do is go have a drink. You got to ask yourself, is your household built upon just chasing a bag, trying to get money? Based upon how you want to have an aesthetic in your house? Based upon vainglory? Or is your household founded on the words of the Lord? And being that woman that's the keeper of your house. And that leads me to the next part of the dream, when that woman was looking over the deck, looking over to see what was going on and what to do with her children, what to do with her household. And you have to be a keeper of your house in these last days, making sure that your house is founded upon the words of the Lord, that your house is just not founded upon vainglory, the things of this world, what meal you gonna cook, what your next outfit gonna be for the feast day, what type of aesthetic you gonna have in your house, how many views you gonna get. You gotta ask yourself, what is your house built upon? But we have to be keepers over our house. Okay, we gotta make sure that our foundation is founded upon the words of the Lord. Okay, so let's go to, since we're getting into a keeper of your house, let's go into Matthew 24:37-46. All right, before we get to being a keeper of your house, I wanted to touch on that water coming and that flood happening as well. It's Matthew 24:37-42. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. We don't know when the Lord is going to come. We don't know when the Lord is going to come. We have no idea of the day of the Lord. No matter what somebody tell you, coming in 2025, 2027, we don't know when the Lord is coming back. But you have to watch and see what's going on in the news. See what's going on with the prophecies being fulfilled. You can't be ignorant in any matter, great or small. And being a keeper of your house is you're going to be a watch. A keeper of you're going to be on the lookout. You're going to be like a watchman. And I kind of view a keeper, being a keeper of your house is kind of being equivalent to being a watchman, but a woman version. Because the definition of a keeper is to manage or to look after someone, a person who guards or watches. So as a woman, you're going to guard and watch over your house. You're going to guard and watch over your husband, your children. And that kind of remind me of like, even with lionesses, I may talk about this a lot in my videos, but this is why I like lionesses and cats, because they don't let nobody come near them. They always on the lookout. The lionesses are the first one to fight if they see a threat to, their children, their pride, their husband. They're truly keepers of their home. And we have to be the same way. We understand at the times that we're coming into. So we have to be keepers of our children, our husband, our children, even your congregation, your sisterhood, always being on the lookout, always being circumspect. Okay. This is Ephesians 5:15-16. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So we have to walk circumspectly. And look at the times that we living in. You can't walk as a foolish woman. Okay, everything go. We don't know when the Lord come back. You might as well just go ahead and do what you might as well go ahead and smoke that blunt and repent tomorrow, because you don't know when the Lord gonna come back. That's what some people think. I'm a just hold off on fasting. I'm a hold off because I'm nursing right now, and then I gotta take these vitamins, and I gotta just making excuses. Well, my kids can't fast right now because they gotta eat this dinner, and they don't know how to act when they fast, and it's gonna be there you go, making excuses. Okay, you have to be circumspect and not be that foolish woman. And walk circumspectly, knowing the times that we live in, because it's only going to wax worse and worse, like I brought out in the last video. Greater evils are going to happen. And in that dream, it just reminds me of that flood, tribulations, trials. You don't want to be taken down because you just either being a sluggard, you're not keeping the things that's written. You halfway keeping the Sabbath day. You halfway serving the Lord. You got one foot in, one foot out. Sometimes you want to keep the Sabbath day, and then sometimes you want to go to a birthday party. Or your best friend's got a baby shower. You want to go to a baby shower on the Sabbath and help her set up and sweep and clean the food because she's your pregnant best friend and y'all been friends since y'all been 13 years old. No, that's not how it works. You have to walk circumspectly. Proverbs 19:14, house and riches are inheritance of the fathers, and a prudent wife is of the Lord. So if you're a married sister and you have children, or if you don't have children, it doesn't matter if you do or don't, but if you're a married sister, you're going to be that prudent wife in your household. You're going to be a wise wife in your household, meaning that you're going to walk circumspectly, but not as a fool. You're not going to be making excuses. You're not going to be lazy. You're not going to be holding off stuff. You're not going to be that sister that's not building up your household. You're going to be that sister that's building up your household. Prudent, acting with or showing care and thought of the future. That's going into being that Titus 2 chapter 3, being a keeper of your house, being a keeper of your home. And that kind of makes me even think like a zookeeper. When a zookeeper, they have all those keys on their ring and they looking over the animals and making sure ain't nobody acting crazy, jumping in to attack the animals, making sure the animals are fed. But you're a keeper of your home. You're going to make sure that everybody in your house, and including yourself, has everything that they need to get the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so let's go to Proverbs 14:1. Okay, before we get to Proverbs 13:1, let me get Ecclesiasticus. Hold on. This is Ecclesiasticus 22:4. A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband, but she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness. So that's that Ecclesiasticus 22:4, being that wise daughter, you're going to bring an inheritance to your husband. Meaning, like I said before, everything that you do as a keeper of your home is to make sure that, of course, of course, everybody has to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling, but the Lord has called us to be a keeper in our own homes as well. So that means you're going to bring an inheritance to your husband. And that's going to be righteous children that's going to be raised up in the law, statutes, and commandments to get the kingdom of heaven. That inheritance can be you being that pillar of rest, you bringing him comfort, you being that prudent wife to really help also build your husband up in righteousness as well. All right, this is Ecclesiasticus 25:23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, making an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. So if you can't be that woman that comforts your husband while he is in distress, you make weak hands and feeble knees, and you're essentially weakening your husband. You're not building your husband up, but you're plucking your household down. Okay, let's get Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucketh down with her hands. So if you're that wise woman, you're going to build your house up, and you're going to think of things in ways, whether it's specifically for each child, for your husband, for yourself, you're going to think of ways and examine yourself on how you can build your household up. Okay, and that kind of goes into let me go into Ecclesiasticus 26:16. All right, Ecclesiasticus 26:16. As the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife and the ordering of her house. And you can read that and you can think about it physically and say, okay, I need to get my house in order. I need to finish the laundry, put the dishes away, mop the floor, wipe the windows, clean the basement, clean the tub out, wipe the walls down, fix this and the third, have the pantry organized, have the cabinets organized, make sure everybody's, all the clothes are organized. Yeah, that's great. It's great to have that organization in your home, but you want to also make sure that you're also having your house in order spiritually. Ordering your house isn't just the physical aspect. It's also ordering it up, having it in order spiritually. So lucky. Many of your kids know what's going to happen these last days. They should know how to pray. They should know the hour of prayer. They should know the Lord's Prayer. That goes into Proverbs 22:6, training up a child in the way that they should go. When they're older, they're not going to depart from it. That goes into ordering your house. Reading to your children every day. Going over laws, statutes, and commandments, like we brought out in the last video. So you have to have that order in your house with your children, and you have to have that order in your house with your husband, making sure that, you are being that submissive wife, that you are being that shamefaced and faithful woman. All right, let's get that. Ecclesiasticus 26:15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. Let's get 14. Salakia. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. Yo, what am I doing? Let's start at 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. As the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife and the ordering of her house. So these are the things that we have to have our house built upon. These are the morals and the words of the Lord that he wants us to have our house built upon. Keeping the things that are written. And that kind of reminds me of, here's Revelation 1:3. Blessed is he that readeth and they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So you have to keep all of these things that are written. And it's not grievous. It's not grievous for us to be a silent and loving woman. And that comes into having the fruits of the Spirit. Being discreet. Truly understanding your role as a woman, being a keeper over your house. So you're going to make sure everybody's good. You're not going to do anything to trouble your own household. You're not going to pluck your house down when things don't go your way because you don't like a certain situation, or because the Lord might have trials and tribulations come upon your household. You still want to make sure that you're being that woman that's being that pillar of rest. Also building up your household with your children. Still building your husband up. Even if your husband is doing this, that, and the third, you still want to pray for him. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. But what you can do is pray and have faith and trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. If you got older children or children that's grown, you want your kids to keep the commandments, you can't make them keep the commandments. But what you can do is continue to try to build them up by making sure that you're an example and you setting a tone and an example in your house. Okay? We have to keep all of these things that are written. And it's really not a lot when you think about it. If you ever studied in school, you studied science, history, etc. You study, you take a test. If you studying and you doing what you got to do, you're going to pass the test. If you studying and you keeping these commandments and you keeping these things that are written and you making sure that your house is founded upon a rock, which is the Lord, because the Lord is our rock and our salvation, making sure that your house is founded upon the Lord, then when all of those tribulations and all of those trials happen, you're going to still be standing. And you're going to be grounded because you have an understanding of being a keeper of your house. You're not going to be that foolish woman that plucketh down her house because something is not going right. Something is not going your way. And I'm kind of keep saying the same thing over and over again in this video, because I want sisters to truly understand that you have to truly have faith in the Lord. Okay? All right, let's go more into being a keeper. Let's go to Titus 2:5. Let's go to Titus 3-5. The aged women likewise, that they in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. So we're called to be a keeper of your house, making sure the kids in order, making sure that your husband is okay, being that pillar of rest, being that virtuous woman. Let's go to a keeper at home, another example. All right, and like I told y'all, a keeper of your house is kind of like being a female watchman. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah 62 and 6-7. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest, till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So I kind of look at this in a spiritual aspect for sisters as well. The Lord has set, sisters to be keepers over their own house. And you should not hold your peace day or night when it comes into getting on your children, when it comes to making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, when it comes to keeping the commandments, when it comes to being a silent and loving woman, it's a time and a place. So it's a time to be silenced. Like the scripture says, it's a time to, it's a time for everything under the sun. But when it comes to exhorting your husband, when it comes to comforting him, exhorting your children, comforting them, don't keep not your silence. Okay, because we make mention of the Lord every day in our household until the Lord comes. Okay, until the Lord make a praise in Jerusalem and in the earth. Don't just be that woman when your husband come home talking about he had a bad day at work. You just not saying nothing because you mad because he didn't order something on your Amazon wish list, or because he didn't bring in the groceries that he forgot something at the grocery store, or because he just isn't doing what you want him to do. You still have to be that pillar of rest. You still have to you still have to exhort your husband. You still have to be there to comfort your husband, because he set us to be keepers, of our own homes. So every day and every night, make sure that you're mentioning the Lord in your household. Make sure that you're exhorting your husband, you're comforting your husband, you're exhorting your children until the Lord come back. All right, so Kohalo Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach wa Malak Yahushai. Lord willing, this video was helpful for sisters. Just a reminder that to endure all things. And that every wise woman is going to build her household up with exhorting her husband, exhorting her children, prophesying to your children, reading to them, being that true keeper of your house, looking over and seeing the things, being watchful and making sure that nothing's coming to your house to bring your household down, and having that Lord as our foundation. Okay, because like I said, my neighbor's house, they don't fear the Lord. They don't really truly serve the Lord, and in that dream their decks was destroyed. Okay, so you have to really make sure that you really truly fearing the Lord and that you're trusting the Most High. Please, you have to trust the Most High. No matter what you're going through, always trust the Most High, that He's always going to make a way for you if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you're keeping those things that are written, you keeping the commandments. You being that mother that you need to be, if you're a mother, that sister that you need to be, that wife that you need to be. Okay. So all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Lord willing, this video was helpful to sisters. Any videos y'all would like to see, just comment below, let me know. Hopefully this was a good video for y'all to meditate on through the week. And I love y'all, and Lord willing, y'all continue to endure all things. Shalawam.